The largest of the approaching ships was the UES Valiant, a heavy cruiser that served as Admiral Marcus Chen's flagship. Elena had met the Admiral once before, at a defense contractor's presentation on Mars. He was known for his strategic brilliance and his absolute dedication to human security in a galaxy full of potential threats. Within hours, Admiral Chen had boarded Phoenix Station with a full security detail. He was a compact man with graying hair and intense brown eyes that seemed to catalog every detail of his surroundings. When he spoke, his voice carried the authority of someone accustomed to being obeyed without question. "Dr. Vasquez," Admiral Chen said as they met in the station's main conference room, "I've read the preliminary reports about your research. I need to see this quantum phase technology for myself." Elena exchanged glances with James and Commander Wong. "Admiral, the technology is still experimental. We don't fully understand its implications or limitations." "Doctor, 3 days ago, our deep space monitoring networks detected energy signatures unlike anything in our databases. The readings suggested a new type of weapon capable of extraordinary destruction. Given the current tensions with the Hegemony Alliance, Earth's Security Council has taken a keen interest in your work." The Hegemony Alliance was a confederation of alien species that controlled much of the galaxy's central regions. While not openly hostile to humanity, they made no secret of their belief that younger species like humans should remain in the galactic periphery. Recent diplomatic incidents had left many on Earth wondering if conflict was inevitable. Elena led the group to her laboratory, where she prepared another demonstration. This time, she used a larger test subject, a decommissioned shuttle that had been scheduled for recycling. Admiral Chen watched intently as she activated the quantum phase generator. The shuttle flickered for several seconds, its hull seeming to ripple like water. Then, just as with the steel cube, it vanished completely. The space where it had been floating was now empty, as if the shuttle had never existed. "Remarkable," Admiral Chen whispered. "Doctor, could this technology be scaled up? Could it affect larger targets?" "Theoretically, yes," Elena replied reluctantly. "The field could be expanded to encompass much larger areas. But Admiral, we still don't know if this process is truly permanent or if there might be unpredictable side effects." Admiral Chen nodded thoughtfully. "Doctor, I'm going to be direct with you. Earth needs this technology. Our intelligence suggests that several hegemony species are developing new weapon systems specifically designed to counter human advantages in speed and maneuverability. If war comes, we need something that can level the playing field." "And if war doesn't come?" James interjected. "Admiral, this weapon could destabilize the entire galactic community. Other species might view its mere existence as a threat. That's a risk we'll have to manage through diplomacy," Admiral Chen replied. "But I won't allow Earth to be defenseless. Dr. Vasquez, I'm authorizing the immediate construction of a prototype warship built around your quantum phase technology. We're calling it the UES Phantom." Construction of the Phantom began within weeks at a classified shipyard in the Ta City system. Elena found herself appointed as the ship's chief science officer, despite her protests that she was a researcher, not a military officer. The vessel that took shape around her quantum phase generators was unlike any ship in human space. The Phantom was built for stealth and precision rather than brute force. Its hull was a matte black composite that absorbed sensor suites, and its engines were designed to minimize energy signatures. The quantum phase generators were housed in heavily shielded chambers at the ship's core, with power conduits running to focusing arrays positioned throughout the hull. Captain Sofia Rodriguez had been chosen to command the Phantom. She was a veteran of the outer colony conflicts, known for her tactical brilliance and steady nerves under pressure. When she first toured the ship, her reaction was a mixture of awe and concern. "Doctor, I've commanded destroyers and cruisers, but nothing like this," Captain Rodriguez said as Elena showed her the quantum phase control systems. "These readings suggest we could delete a space station from existence in seconds." "That's theoretically possible," Elena admitted. "But Sophia, we have to be absolutely certain about our targets. Once something is phase-shifted out of normal space, we don't know if it can ever come back. The forbidden weapon. Dr. Elena Vasquez rubbed her tired eyes as she stared at the holographic display floating above her workstation. The numbers dancing in the blue light seemed impossible, but she had run the calculations 17 times. Each result was the same. The quantum phase generator was producing energy readings that shouldn't exist according to every known law of physics. Phoenix Station hummed quietly around her as the massive research facility drifted through the empty void between stars. The station had been humanity's most ambitious project, built specifically to push the boundaries of science far from Earth's cautious oversight. Elena had been working here for 3 years, chasing theories that most scientists called impossible. "Computer, run Diagnostic Protocol 7, she commanded. The AI's pleasant voice responded immediately. All systems functioning within normal parameters. Dr. Vasquez, the quantum phase field generator is operating at 347% efficiency. Elena laughed despite her exhaustion. Efficiency ratings above 100% were supposed to be impossible. Her device was somehow pulling energy from quantum fluctuations in space itself, creating more power than it consumed. But that wasn't the strangest part. When she activated the field around test materials, something unprecedented happened. The matter didn't just disappear or get destroyed. It seemed to slip out of normal space entirely, as if it had never existed at all. The laboratory door slid open with a soft hiss. Dr. James Park entered, carrying 2 cups of coffee and wearing his usual concerned expression. James had been Elena's research partner since their days at the Mars Institute, and he knew her well enough to recognize when she was on the verge of a breakthrough or a breakdown. "You've been here for 18 hours straight," James said, setting 1 coffee cup beside her workstation. "The galaxy's mysteries will still be here after you get some sleep." Elena took the coffee gratefully but didn't look away from her data. "James, I need you to look at something. I think we've accidentally stumbled onto something incredible." James pulled up a chair and studied the holographic readouts. His background was in theoretical physics, and Elena watched his face change as he processed what he was seeing. "Elena, these energy readings suggest that your device is accessing zero-point energy directly. That's supposed to be impossible with our current technology." "That's what I thought too," Elena replied, pulling up a video file. "But watch this." The recording showed a steel cube sitting on a test platform. When Elena activated her quantum phase generator, a shimmering field surrounded the cube. For a moment, the metal seemed to flicker like a bad hologram. Then it simply wasn't there anymore. Not vaporized, not dissolved, just gone. James stared at the empty test platform in the video. "Where did it go?" "That's the trillion-credit question," Elena said. "I've run every scan I can think of. No residual particles, no energy signature, no trace that the cube ever existed. It's like we found a way to edit matter out of reality itself." The implications hung heavy in the air between them. James set down his coffee with shaking hands. "Elena, do you understand what this means? If we can make matter disappear completely, if we can remove things from existence itself, we've created the ultimate weapon," Elena finished quietly. "I know. I've been thinking about it all night." Neither scientist spoke for several minutes. They both knew that their discovery would change everything. In the wrong hands, the quantum phase technology could erase planets, stars, entire solar systems. But it could also revolutionize manufacturing, waste disposal, and space exploration. The question was whether humanity was ready for such power. Their contemplation was interrupted by an urgent chime from the station's communication system. "Dr. Vasquez, please report to the command center immediately. We have incoming vessels." Elena and James hurried through Phoenix Station's corridors, past laboratories where other researchers were working on less world-changing projects. The command center was a dome-shaped room at the station's heart, with transparent walls offering a panoramic view of space. Station Commander Lisa Wong stood at the central console, her face grim as she studied the tactical display. "Doctor, we have 3 military vessels approaching," Commander Wong said without preamble. "They're flying Earth Navy colors, but they weren't scheduled to arrive for another month." Elena felt a chill run down her spine. How could they know about our work? "All our research data is classified." "Quantum signatures," James said suddenly. "Elena, your experiments have been generating massive energy spikes. Any monitoring station within 50 light-years would have detected the anomalies." Admiral Chen finally stood to address the assembly. His military bearing and calm demeanor commanded attention even among species that had no concept of human rank structures. "Delegates, I have spent my career planning for the defense of Earth and her colonies. Every scenario we've studied shows humanity at a significant disadvantage in any major conflict. Our fleets are smaller, our territories less defended, our resources more limited than any major galactic power." "That may be true," General Thorgrim rumbled, "but your new weapon changes everything. Numbers become irrelevant when any ship can be simply deleted from existence." "And what would you have us do?" Admiral Chen asked. "Abandon the technology and trust that no one will ever threaten Earth. Rely entirely on the goodwill of species that have made it clear they consider humanity to be junior partners at best." The debate continued for hours, with various delegates presenting evidence and arguments. Some species called for the immediate destruction of all quantum phase weapons and research. Others suggested placing the technology under galactic oversight. A few even supported humanity's right to develop whatever defensive measures they deemed necessary. Dr. James Park, who had been observing from the gallery, was called upon to provide technical testimony. His role as Elena's research partner gave him unique insights into the technology's development and potential applications. "Honorable delegates," James began, "I want to be completely transparent about what we know and what we don't know about quantum phase manipulation. The technology works by accessing zero-point energy fields that exist throughout space. When properly focused, these fields can shift matter out of normal space-time." "Where does the matter go?" asked a delegate from the Aquatic Confederation, their translation device giving their question an appropriately watery quality. "We don't know," James admitted. "It's possible that the affected matter is shifted to another dimension, another universe, or simply ceases to exist entirely. Our current understanding of the underlying physics is incomplete." This revelation caused another stir among the delegates. The idea that humanity was using technology they didn't fully understand was almost as alarming as the weapon's destructive potential. Captain Rodriguez requested permission to speak. "I've commanded the only ship equipped with quantum phase weapons, and I can tell you that we've been extremely careful about its use. Every targeting decision goes through multiple verification processes. We've used the technology only to disable threats, not to destroy them entirely." "But the capability for complete destruction exists," Counselor Zixandra pointed out. "Your restraint is admirable, Captain, but it doesn't address the fundamental concern about this technology's existence." Senator Paddle knew that they were losing ground in the debate. The fear and suspicion in the chamber were palpable, and it was becoming clear that most delegates favored some form of action against humanity's quantum phase program. She decided to make one final appeal. "Delegates, humanity has been part of this galactic community for less than 2 centuries. In that time, we've contributed to scientific advancement, participated in peacekeeping efforts, and sought to be responsible members of this civilization. We're not asking you to trust us blindly with this technology. We're asking you to work with us to ensure it's used responsibly. What do you propose?" Elder Wisp asked, his ancient voice carrying genuine curiosity. "Joint oversight," Senator Paddle replied. "A committee of species representatives who would review any potential applications of quantum phase technology. Shared research that could lead to defensive countermeasures. Full transparency about our capabilities and limitations." The proposal sparked intense discussion among the delegates. Some saw it as a reasonable compromise, while others viewed it as insufficient given the weapon's destructive potential. The debate stretched on through the station's artificial night cycle and into the next day. Finally, Councillor Zixandra called for a formal vote on 3 possible courses of action. The first option was complete prohibition of quantum phase technology, with immediate dismantling of all weapons and research facilities. The second was joint oversight, as proposed by humanity. The third was unrestricted development, allowing each species to pursue their own quantum phase research. The voting process took several hours, as each species delegation needed time to consult with their home governments. When the results were announced, they were closer than anyone had expected. 24 species voted for prohibition, 18 voted for joint oversight, and 5 voted for unrestricted development. At the Chamber's center, Councillor Zixandra rose to address the assembly. The crystalline being's body refracted light into rainbow patterns as she spoke, her voice carrying both authority and barely contained fear. This emergency session has been called to address the threat posed by humanity's new quantum phase weapon technology. We dispute the characterization of our defensive systems as a threat, Senator Patel interjected, rising from her seat. Humanity has used this technology only to protect our citizens and shipping from piracy. General Thorgrim, representative of the warrior Kethmar species, slammed a massive fist on his delegation's table. His people were 8 feet tall and covered in natural armor plating, evolved from predators on a high-gravity world. Defensive. Your weapon erases matter from existence itself. No shield can stop it. No armor can resist it. This is not defense. It is the power to unmake creation. A murmur of agreement rippled through the chamber. Ambassador Krulthak's harmonic voice joined the chorus of concern. The Hegemony Alliance has analyzed the energy signatures from your recent demonstration. The technology appears capable of scaling beyond anything previously imagined. Dr. Elena Vasquez felt compelled to speak, despite her nervousness. Honored delegates, the quantum phase field generators require enormous amounts of energy and precise calibration. The technology has significant limitations that prevent its indiscriminate use. Councillor Zixandra's crystalline form pulsed with skeptical light. Doctor, our scientists have reviewed your published research. While the current implementation may have limitations, the underlying principles suggest room for considerable advancement. What prevents humanity from scaling this technology to planetary or even stellar scales? Elena hesitated, knowing that her answer would be crucial. Currently, the energy requirements would be prohibitive for anything larger than a few cubic kilometers of affected space. But, theoretically, with sufficient power generation, larger applications might be possible. The chamber erupted in alarmed voices from dozens of different species. Senator Patel raised her hand for quiet, knowing that Elena's honesty had just made their situation more difficult. Delegates, please. Theoretical possibilities exist for many technologies. That doesn't mean they will be pursued or implemented. Elder Wisp of the ancient ethereal collective had remained silent until now. The ethereals were among the oldest species in the galaxy, having achieved spaceflight when most others were still developing language. Their advice was rarely given but always respected. When Elder Wisp spoke, the entire chamber fell silent. Young species of Terra, Elder Wisp said, his voice seeming to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. We have witnessed the rise and fall of countless civilizations. Many have discovered technologies that exceeded their wisdom to use responsibly. The quantum phase manipulation you have developed represents a fundamental alteration of reality itself. Elder Wisp, Senator Paddle replied respectfully. Humanity has always strived to use our technological capabilities responsibly. We seek only to protect ourselves in a galaxy that can be hostile to younger species. Yet protection and aggression are often indistinguishable from the perspective of others, Elder Wisp observed. Your weapon cannot be countered by conventional means. Its very existence forces other species to either submit to your will or develop equally dangerous countermeasures. Commander Alex Turner, the Phantom's weapons officer, had been listening to the debate with growing frustration. He stood up suddenly, his voice carrying the passion of someone who had seen combat. With respect to all delegates, humanity didn't ask to be weak. We didn't choose to be outnumbered and outgunned by species that have been spacefaring for millennia. We developed this technology because we had to, not because we wanted to dominate anyone. His words struck a chord with some of the assembled delegates. The Nexeri Collective, themselves a relatively young spacefaring species, showed signs of understanding. But the older, more established powers remained unmoved. Counselor Zixandra activated the chamber's central display, showing tactical analyses of the quantum phase weapons capabilities. The evidence is clear. A single human vessel equipped with this technology could theoretically eliminate the entire combined fleet of the Hegemony Alliance. This level of asymmetric warfare capability threatens the stability of our entire civilization. Under the Galactic Council's rules, major decisions required a 2/3 majority. With only 24 votes out of 47, the prohibition measure had failed. However, the joint oversight proposal had also fallen short of the required threshold. Elder Wisp rose once more to address the deadlocked assembly. It appears that our civilization is as divided on this issue as our debate would suggest. Perhaps this is fitting, as the quantum phase technology represents a fundamental question about the nature of power and responsibility in our galaxy. Where does this leave us? Senator Patil asked. With a choice, Elder Wisp replied. Humanity can choose to continue developing this technology independently, accepting the isolation and suspicion that will inevitably follow. Or you can choose to limit your own capabilities in exchange for continued membership in this galactic community. Admiral Chen stood up slowly, his face grave. Elder Wisp, you're asking us to choose between our security and our place in galactic civilization. Yes, the ancient being replied simply. That is exactly what we are asking. The weight of the decision settled over the human delegation like a heavy blanket. They had fought so hard to develop technology that could protect Earth and her colonies, only to discover that its very existence might force them into the isolation they had sought to avoid. Dr. Elena Vasquez thought about her breakthrough in that laboratory on Phoenix Station, how excited she had been to push the boundaries of human knowledge. Now that same discovery was threatening to reshape humanity's future in ways she had never imagined. Senator Patil requested a recess to consult with Earth's government. The human delegation gathered in a secure conference room, where they could speak freely without alien surveillance. The discussion that followed would determine not just the fate of the quantum phase program, but humanity's place in the galaxy itself. As they debated through the night, one thing became clear. Whatever they decided would echo through history for generations to come. The power to erase matter from existence was either humanity's greatest achievement or its most dangerous mistake, and the galaxy was waiting to see which it would prove to be. The pirate fleet consisted of 6 modified cargo ships and 2 stolen frigates, all orbiting Kepler 442b's outermost moon. They had positioned themselves to intercept any ship entering or leaving the system, creating a choke point that allowed them to control all traffic. The Phantom approached the system using its stealth capabilities, remaining undetected until it was within weapons range. Captain Rodriguez's plan was elegant in its simplicity. Rather than destroying the pirate ships, she would use the quantum phase generators to remove their weapons and engines, leaving the vessels intact but helpless. Initiating phase shift sequence, Elena announced from her science station. The Phantom's generators hummed to life, creating a targeting field around the lead pirate vessel, focusing on weapons arrays and propulsion systems only. The effect was precisely controlled but visually stunning. Parts of the pirate ship simply ceased to exist, leaving clean voids where weapons had been mounted and engines had provided thrust. The vessel was left intact but completely defenseless, drifting helplessly in space. Captain Rodriguez repeated the process with each pirate ship, systematically removing their ability to fight or flee without harming their crews. Within an hour, the entire pirate fleet was neutralized, and rescue ships were en route to collect the stranded criminals. But the demonstration had an unintended consequence. Several alien observation posts in nearby systems had detected the quantum phase energy signatures. Within days, concerned messages were flowing through diplomatic channels as various species tried to understand what humanity had unleashed. Ambassador Krulfak of the Hegemony Alliance requested an emergency meeting with Earth's diplomatic court. The ambassador was a tall, crystalline being whose species communicated through harmonic frequencies as well as spoken language. When upset, their bodies resonated with discordant tones that made conversations decidedly uncomfortable. Representative Patterson. Ambassador Krulfak said to Earth's chief diplomat, "Our sensor networks have detected energy signatures that correspond to no known technology in our databases. The readings suggest a weapon capable of selective matter displacement on a massive scale." Ambassador Patterson had been briefed on the Phantom's existence, but had been instructed to reveal as little as possible. "Ambassador, humanity has always been innovative in our approach to technology. We're simply developing new defensive capabilities." Defensive. The alien's harmonic voice rose to an almost painful pitch. "Our analysts suggest that this technology could remove entire fleets from existence." "How is that defensive?" "The same way that plasma cannons and fusion missiles are defensive when used to protect our worlds," Patterson replied calmly. "The intent behind a weapon matters more than its potential destructive power." But Ambassador Krulfak was not satisfied with diplomatic non-answers. The Hegemony Alliance began mobilizing their own fleets, positioning vessels along the borders of human space. Other species took notice, and within weeks, the entire galactic community was buzzing with rumors about humanity's new superweapon. Dr. Elena Vasquez watched these developments with growing unease from aboard the Phantom. Her scientific breakthrough was becoming the center of an interstellar crisis, and she couldn't help but wonder if they had opened a door that should have remained closed forever. The quantum phase technology worked exactly as designed, but its very existence was changing the balance of power in the galaxy. Soon, humanity would have to decide whether the promise of ultimate defense was worth the price of galactic isolation and potential war. The galactic verdict. The neutral station Unity Prime had never hosted a gathering quite like this one. Representatives from 47 different species filled the Great Council chamber, their various forms creating a tapestry of galactic diversity. Some breathed methane through specialized masks, others required gravity adjustments for their massive frames, and a few existed as pure energy contained within crystalline matrices. Senator Maya Patel stood at the human delegation's table, reviewing her notes one final time. As Earth's chief negotiator, she had handled difficult diplomatic situations before, but never one where the stakes were so high. The future of humanity's place in the galactic community would be decided in the next few hours. Beside her, Admiral Marcus Chen remained stoically calm despite the tension in the chamber. Captain Sofia Rodriguez sat nearby, still wearing her ship uniform, having arrived directly from the Phantom's bridge. Dr. Elena Vasquez looked pale and exhausted, clearly uncomfortable with being at the center of such momentous events.